Joining us on Game Day Live, presented by Pabst Light. Ian Toner, lucky to be joined by the Minnesota Wind Chill star Noah Hansen, former Wind Chill coach Kelsey Percy, Team USA World Game two-time gold medalist and San Diego Growlers coach Kayla Helton, and 2018 UFA champ Colin Camp, who did put on, what's the mascot name?
Chili.
The Chili Bear head, picking the Wind Chill to win this game beforehand. So you're 1 for 2. Things didn't work out with the shred head, but you know, batting 500, that's still a good batting average. Noah, we only got you for a couple minutes, so I want to start and just kind of get your pulse on how that game unfolded. You set the tone particularly well for your defense in the first quarter. Just take me through what you were seeing and feeling on the field.
Yeah, I mean, we always deliver on these exciting games. I think for us, like, we're a really scary team as soon as we believe in ourselves. And I want to do everything that I can as a player to get us to believe that we're going to win a game. And that starts at point one with how I'm hyping up our guys and the plays that I'm in.
Talk me through where the sideline was at early in the third quarter. Obviously, at the end of the first half, Dylan DeClerc goes down with an injury. He's out for the game. You give up a couple breaks to start off that third quarter. Where's your team at, and what did it take to kind of get over that hurdle at that time?
I mean, that's definitely a hit to the energy that we have going on whenever a guy like that, who's that important to our team, goes down. But it really starts with Dylan there. Like, as soon as he, processed it all, put on his dark jersey and was just hyping everybody up on the sideline. Like, that response from someone who just lost so much, like, he wanted that stuff so bad. And seeing him immediately respond and hype everyone up, flip the switch, at least for me, and our whole sideline, I assume, as well.
Noah, at what point in the game did it feel like it was really going to happen? Because you were up 2, there was still 4 minutes, it's a lot of time on the clock, like in that 3 range. When did it start to feel real? Like you knew what was going to happen?
I feel like I knew when we tied the game. Like, I feel like we're like, okay, we got this. We have been here before, and we have consistently proven that we are going to win down the stretch as a team. We're going to make the plays. The play that really, put the nail in the coffin for me, Justin Burnett, man, that guy's a hell of a baller.
I don't understand where we were looking at the replay multiple times on the live feed, and he's not even in the frame by the time the replay starts, and then he just launches himself from nowhere to steal that disc from Hayden Austin Nab. What's it been like playing on the D-line with him this season?
It's been so fun. Like, one of my favorite people, like, to play defense with. We're always talking to each other on the sideline, like, we need more, we need more. As soon as we get any sort of complacency, we're hyping each other up. We are dialing each other in every single time. I think that we really feed off of that energy for each other, and we know that we eat in the fourth quarter every single time.
So fast forwarding tomorrow, it's really strength versus strength, I would say, right? It's 2 defensive juggernauts going against each other. What do you think it's going to take to kind of get past this Glory team? They have a lot of talent across the board. You guys do too, but what are some of the keys for tomorrow, do you think?
I mean, it just starts with us. Like, we have to be internally focused. Like, we cannot think about who is against or on the other line as us. Like, we need to focus on the little things that we're doing together. If we do that, if we believe in each other, if we believe that we're going to win the game, we're going to win the game. And, yeah, we're a dangerous team when we believe.
I'm curious, like, I believe everything you're saying there. Mm-hmm. The first quarter, the first half, you leave some opportunities on the table.
Yeah.
The offensive hold rate isn't necessarily where you want it to be. But you guys still have that belief and find a way to generate it. Where does that come from, and how do you know that that's just going to manifest itself later in a game?
I wish I could tell you. It just comes, and it comes from a different person every time, like a different person making a play one moment at a time. It is just a collective, like, unified idea of just us being dialed. Somebody's going to make a play, and then somebody's going to make another play, and then all of a sudden you look up, and we're tied. We're up 1. But it starts with just one. Whatever moment we are in, we have to win that moment, the little things.
Another guy who had a big game for you all, Paul Krennick. He started the season playing a little more O.
Oh, yeah.
And it felt like you guys were pretty intentional about switching Shope, a guy you coached in college, to a championship, having him play more O and PK play more D. What's it been like having him play more D over the course of this stretch?
It's a privilege whenever you get to play with a player like Paul Krennic on a D-line. Whenever you have the opportunity to play him on your D-line, you're in a good spot. PK is so consistent. He's so athletic. He's going to do everything right every single time. And man, he's an athletic freak too.
I know you've played here at Breeze Stevens many times before, but what was it like to do that here in a championship weekend game with your home fans traveling here so well? Just what did that environment feel like?
It's so cool. This is the best stadium in the whole league, the best crowd in the whole league. It's like everyone that plays here knows that, and everyone says that. It's such a cool place to host this weekend, and having the opportunity to have our whole wind chill section travel out, nothing like it. So cool. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
Your final thoughts as you wrap up tonight and think about facing Boston tomorrow?
Got to recover. It's a late night.
So you're not joining us at the rooftop bar after we strike from set here, are you?
I'm gonna be drinking a lot of water, try to get some sleep, dial in. I trust our coaches. I feel bad for them. They're gonna be staying up all night prepping to allow us to get our full rest in. But on to the next right now. Enjoy the moment right now. As soon as we leave this field, we're on to the next one.
One
gotta
more
recover.
game.
One more game. One more. That's all we need.
Noah, 2 goals and a block in the victory over the Atlanta Hustle. Congratulations on the victory. We're going to let you go and get to that recovery, and we are going to take a quick break here. Game Day Live presented by Pabst Light. More post-game reaction and breakdown from the first day of 2025 UFA Championship Weekend.
Throw like a pro with a new Pro Ultimate Frisbee. Created with input from the sport's premier passers, the Pro Frisbee is specially designed to fly through the wind and maintain its edge. Experience the official Frisbee of the UFA and get yours at shopufa.com today.
Welcome back to Breeze Stevens Field. The Minnesota Wind Chill defeating the Atlanta Hustle for the second time this season, a 23-21 victory here at the championship weekend semifinals. Ian Toner joined now by the voice of the sport, Evan Lepler, still with Kelsey Percy, Kayla Helton, and Colin Camp. We were lucky to hear from Noah Hansen just moments ago. Guys, that game was wild. The swings, the turns, the twists, the back and forth. I don't even know where to begin. I'm wondering what the dominant thought is in mind for each of you.
Well, I've seen a lot of these semifinal game 2s, and there's something about the mystique under the lights, you know, good matchup, intensity, and you can just add this to the historical ledger of like semifinal Friday night. Semifinals used to be on Saturday, but here at Breeze Stevens Field, there's a mystique to this place. I don't know what like the iconic moment from the night is, but I have a couple ideas. One was the snake in the grass, which I still need to see. Like I was kind of looking down at my notes, and all of a sudden
all of a sudden in the booth, I yelled "snake in the grass."
Yeah, no, you were on it. You were totally all over it. The other play was the first time that I think a hammer was floating. McClamrock, I think, got a piece of it. Snyder had the layout.
Yeah.
Quick reset to Shope, and then the cross hammer to Raider.
That was
I
great.
think put him up by 2.
The Burnett block.
I was going to say, I think for me it's the Burnett block. I mean, I think it has to be the Burnett block. On his former team, I mean, like you mentioned, came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely nowhere. And just so explosive. And that moment felt like, to me, like, this game is over. This is Minnesota's game.
Do you guys have a thought on, I mean, Atlanta's got the lead going into the fourth quarter. You need Minnesota to find a way to get a hold. We get another look at the Burnett block there. That was just otherworldly. Minnesota has to get a hold to start the fourth. And then they were just kind of off to the races. What, in your estimation, was behind Atlanta kind of surrendering that run? Was there a new level of pressure, a different strategic look from Minnesota's defense? Was Atlanta just kind of crumbling under the pressure? I don't want to put words in y'all's mouths. I'm curious what you guys think.
So I'll take it back to one of the things I loved about the snake in the grass is it meant that Minnesota was playing loose. Their leadership was playing loose. The guys on the field were playing loose. And so I loved that the offense was holding the way it was. But when I saw them hold after that, it's okay. We've got confidence. And to me, that's what that play call signaled.
Yeah.
Was let's have some fun. And that's a really good, you're not tight, you're not trying not to lose, you're in it to win it instead of protecting against a loss.
Well, they've been here before.
Yes.
And that was on display, and Atlanta has not been here before, and the contrast and juxtaposition of those two things was pretty darn striking. And, I mean, the hustle nerves in the fourth quarter, like, we really should focus on Minnesota because what they continue to do, but there's a different conversation to have about the hustle and all the little things that didn't go right for them, either of their own doing or bad luck or poor execution or whatever it might be, that cost them tonight. You add it all up, and Minnesota's back in the finals, and it's unbelievable.
I mean, you called that in the pregame, too. Like, I said, what's going to happen to Atlanta when they get punched in the mouth? And you said, no, what happens to them when they have a moment of, like, they have a lapse, right? And at the beginning of the fourth quarter, we saw that with that drop right here, right in front of us. Miller drops it. I mean, that's a big moment. And that's not on him. That's not – he didn't cost them the game. It's just – that's a microcosm of – the moment is big for this team right now, and they haven't been in this moment, and you could tell it was big for them.
Kayla, I'm curious about your perspective having coached against this team. Was there something that you saw from Atlanta playing out of system in the fourth quarter, or was there anything that jumped out to you as abnormal?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're throwing turnovers in unexpected ways, it kind of puts you on your heels, and when Minnesota was getting blocks kind of in all these different areas, for Atlanta's offense, it's like hard to then regroup and then attack back in your normal fashion when you're not really even sure how you turned it over that time. So props to Minnesota for all the different ways that they were generating blocks on the hustle, because it really forced them into a different game plan.
Do we all have an explanation or understanding of like what this ability is that the wind chill have, of just it doesn't matter what's happened through the first 75% of this game, we can just find a way to turn it on and our defense can go rolling? Kelsey, do you have an insight? Like, what is this?
So two things, and I think Noah talked about it a little bit. Some of it is like, it's such a blow. Like, I felt the blow on the other side of the field when Dylan went down and stayed down, because he is such an energy-generating personality. Like, he is someone that they can look to go make that play that they need. And so his ability to come out and get back on the sideline. But I think it's also the reason, and Evan, you may remember this, that last year it was so hard to pick an MVP for Minnesota. There's this next man up mentality. And there's an entire cohesiveness that they don't really play stars. And that, I think, really plays in well to that resilience. Is like, it could be anyone. It could be anyone that steps up in that moment, and they believe that anyone can do it.
I'm glad you brought up the Dylan injury, because we just saw it. It was scary, and we didn't mention on the broadcast that whole fourth quarter run obviously happened without DeClerc, who is typically thought of as like the spark plug for that D-line. that they have 9 other spark plugs on the D-line. It's unbelievable what their D-line continues to do. And Will Brandt had maybe the best game of his entire 2025 season tonight, and was fully in control, was never rattled by a sideline double team, had the high release cooking. Like, I thought he was really good tonight. And when their offense was having a tough time and Klain was nervy and Rader was a little uncertain, Brandt and Larson really stabilized them. And also Greg Cousins and Christian Johnson.
Holy cow.
I mean, 2 guys that we don't spend a lot of time talking about. Like, I was surprised when I saw Christian Johnson was active for this game, because he was not, a consistent active 20 guy throughout the season. But anytime they asked him to do something, he was ready. He delivered.
Well, and I'll say too, like, this Minnesota Windshield team is just used to playing in chaos. If you've ever played at their home stadium, Seafoam Stadium, like, that place sucks. Like, it's just the conditions there suck.
Tell us how you really feel.
Like, it really does. And that's the thing, is like, they're used to playing in chaos and they thrive in chaos. And so I just think any situation comes up, they feel like we've been here before. I mean, it's that championship DNA. And so when everybody wants to put an asterisk on this championship last year, they're like, this is what we're used to. Like, we play in conditions like this week in and week out in our stadium. Like, we earned this win. And then tonight, when there's chaos, when there's pressure, like, we've been here. Like, that's that championship DNA to me, and that's why I think they continue to pull out these games.
So I don't want to close the book on tonight's matchup. We can go back there any point we want, but do we believe that this defense can do the same thing against Boston tomorrow? Can Krennic get 5 blocks against Babbitt? Can I don't know, Crapful go step for step with DeCrana? Kelsey, Evan?
Maybe flip those.
Okay.
I mean, I think, look, Boston's the favorite. They were really good tonight and deserve to be considered the favorite. And I'm sure Minnesota's delighted to be the underdog.
That.
And the status of Jeff Babbitt is going to be a really important factor. And hopefully we'll learn something at press conferences tomorrow morning, 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, right here. Back at Breese Stevens Field to get a sense of how he's doing, because he hit the ground a lot tonight.
Yeah.
And he's, talking about how he's 31 now and needs to be a little careful. And now, Boston's still a really good team without him, but they have a different level of nuclear, capabilities when he's out there, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the Babbitt question mark's the biggest thing right now. I mean, being down on the sideline, I got the sense he wasn't feeling very good. Like, I really got the sense he wasn't feeling very good. Obviously, recovery can happen, but that will be the big question mark. And it's unfortunate because he got straight up tackled out there. I mean, I hated that bid. I thought it was a terrible bid, and you don't want to see the star players getting bid into like that. And it could impact this championship game tomorrow. We'll see how he's feeling. Hopefully he's ready to go. I'm sure he'll give it a go no matter what, but it's a factor tomorrow.
One of the things I'm really interested to see, I thought Salt Lake did such a good job of challenging Boston's tempo in the first half. And maybe a question I could pose to y'all is, who do you think has the better offense, Boston or Atlanta? We've seen Winchell now successfully take an offense outside of his plan. Do we think they can do that again to Boston?
It's a great question, and that's the conversation we'll have pregame tomorrow and we'll ruminate on tonight. I mean, Boston's offensive style is very different from Minnesota's, and just the size that they have. But, arguably, I think if we were going to just go side-by-side comparison, Atlanta's O-line handlers versus Boston's O-line handlers, we probably would take Atlanta's. And I don't want to say Austin Taylor was neutralized tonight, but I don't think he threw an assist in the game, which is pretty unbelievable, considering I think he led the league in assists. And, he threw the disc to Austin Knabb that Justin Burnett came in flying out of nowhere and made that superhero block. So, yeah.
Fun to think on,
The
isn't it?
Minnesota Windshield could win back-to-back championships in the UFA.
You hear the words coming out of your mouth.
The
Evan.
Minnesota Windshield, I need to start saying it to believe that it could happen. The Minnesota Windshield could win back-to-back UFA championships.
Before you know it, you'll be a believer and they'll start recruiting you.
I doubt that.
Well, I think something that impressed me from the Boston offense that I didn't appreciate enough until I saw that semifinal was just how talented Boston's handling core is. I mean, obviously we know that Ben Sadok has been improving his decision making and been a really high level handler for several years, but the way Ned Dick made an impact in that game, I completely slept on his ability to execute well in the red zone, do what that team needed. And obviously Toba initiates downfield, but at the end of the day, he finished the game with 8 assists. I beg your pardon, 9 assists. This is a handling core that can do a lot of damage, not only with its O-line, but also after the turn with the likes of Brendan McCann and Tanner Johnson-Go anchoring things there as well.
Yeah, I think that point's spot on, and that's kind of where I was impressed with this Boston team today as well. I mean, Ben Sadok, it felt like he was very much in control of the game.
Yeah.
He felt very in control, and that's, I mean, to be flat out honest, we're not really used to that. He can be a wild card at times, but if he plays in control like that tomorrow, that poses a real problem for this Minnesota team, because tonight this Atlanta team gave Minnesota a lot of opportunities. They had some silly turnovers, but if Ben Sadok is a guy that can play in control tomorrow, that makes this Boston offense, so much better.
So this is going to come out in the next 12, 24 hours. Ben Sadok's not playing tomorrow. The Boston Glory will not have Ben Sadok tomorrow. My understanding, he's officiating a wedding on Sunday. He has known since the spring that if they made the championship game, he wouldn't be there. So that is definitely another wrinkle in the situation. And unless something has changed, it's, maybe after the win tonight he reconsidered. But my understanding, and I haven't reported this yet, but my understanding is the Glory will be without Ben Sadok tomorrow.
Interesting.
Holy.
That certainly changes things, 100%.
Yeah.
There's still plenty of other talent on that O-line, but what he does is really special and unique. There's still something that sticks in my mind, and I said this on the second broadcast, the fact that Boston was nearly perfect on break opportunities, and obviously Minnesota aspires to that level. They weren't quite at that level, and if Boston performs at that level, which is kind of like what we saw in the East Division Championship, and then they do some great things here in the semifinal, it's just so tough to go up against and mount comebacks against.
I was so impressed by Brendan McCann during the game. Just his authority, but there's like a killer instinct. He cuts through in a really impressive way, but also just like people make space, and there's more order in the counterattack when he is involved. I was really impressed with that element of Boston.
And speaking of killer instinct, what about Tanner Johnson-Go?
Yeah.
He is a force for this team right now, and just
embarrassment of riches.
His body language, his demeanor, his attitude, it has shifted. Well, and he wants it in a different way than maybe he did in the past.
And we were lucky to have him on the Game Day Live set after they won, and he talked about how all the credit for his shift to the D-line, his embracing of that role, his evolution of a player in that way, is due to his coaching staff and his trust in what they've been asking him to do. And for someone of his caliber and experience and accomplishment level to kind of, I don't know if this is the right verb, but surrender in a way and just fully buy into the vision that the coaching staff has for you. We've all played with guys who have egos and who say, hey, no, I know what's best. I know where my strength is. For him to kind of surrender to what the team needs, that is just such a huge sign of maturation. Not that he needed to mature, but maturation and leadership, and it's so valuable for where the Glory are and why the Glory are where they are this year.
I mean, he literally said, I'm committed to being a role player.
Yeah.
Those words came out of his mouth. And so, like, that's huge because he has been a star player on many teams.
Yeah.
And he is committed to being a role player. He said it in front of everybody on a microphone. Like, that's a big testament to your commitment to winning a championship.
Well, and one of the things I loved hearing from the Boston coach, too, was, like, that they have crafted their level of participation in practice, in points, in getting people to show up. And we know there's a push-pull in how much commitment the UFA gets. There are a lot of things that can pull players away. And so the ability to have better roster consistency, you know, point over point, to get players who could play elsewhere to commit to the UFA, to commit to that team, which is why, like, he's celebrating the depth of their team and the success of youth playing up into, and the amount I think that Boston has invested into their youth scene. We saw that with Malachi. I got a chance to hear a little bit, and maybe we open up on that tomorrow as well, but really impressed with how Boston has invested into its community and how that's feeding back into their program.
And tonight is also a lesson. You can invest and you can be all bought in and you can think it's your time and you can get over the hump and you can still lose to Minnesota in the semifinals. The DC Breeze last year, the Atlanta Hustle this year. Welcome to the club.
It's a special kind of infamy for those groups. We got a couple minutes left. Let's take a few looks ahead, more concretely, to tomorrow. We'll have a lot of time to discuss on our pregame show. Who do you think is going to be an X factor in tomorrow's matchup? Let's assume that we know that Ben Sadok will be unavailable.
Yeah, I mean, the first name I think about is the guy that was sitting in the seat before, Noah Hansen. I mean, he set the tone tonight for the Minnesota D-line, and just his energy and his intelligence and his ability to make instinctual choices to kind of be the tip of the spear to try to slow down Boston's handlers, which, if they're shorthanded, I mean, adds even more pressure to those guys, and Hansen's going to come out firing. I might pick Minnesota tomorrow. I don't.
He's really practicing right now.
I'm vacillating. I'm uneasy. I'm uncertain of reality right now, because this is 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Like, look, Minnesota. I said it on the pod. Like, until they beat a team like this without conditions helping them, we're going to be skeptical. Well, check. They have checked that box, and I really don't know what else we can say other than respect. You got to take them seriously, and without Sadok, and if Babbitt's banged up, this Minnesota defense could do it 2 years in a row.
Anybody else got an X factor in mind?
For me, it's Will Brandt. I think you're going up against such a good defense in the Boston Glory. He was, again, very much in control tonight. As Evan said, played one of his best games all season. Needs to have a duplicate performance tomorrow. I mean, he controls. That offense is a very uneasy offense. When he has the disc, he brings a sense of control and stabilizes that offense for them.
So I'll bring up an X factor. The eighth man on the field. Minnesota fans were loud. They were in it. They picked up the team, and they were the most dominant presence in the stands. And, you know, if you're the other teams, are you cheering for Boston? Are you cheering for Minnesota when you're in this sideline? Like, it could get loud tomorrow, and that would be a fun way to be a Breeze.
They were like a college football crowd when the team was on defense. They're like up and screaming and like making it so the offense can't hear the signals at the line of scrimmage. Like they impacted the game in that way. Even like look, they make noise at Seafoam Stadium, but it's more cheering after good things happen. This was a different type of Frisbee crowd tonight.
They organized.
It really was.
And it was so loud on the field. It was so loud on the field. Like, legitimately so loud on the field. Like, maybe the loudest I've ever heard.
I was going to say, like you
it
were
is
part
right
of
up
those
there.
Radicals runs in 16 and 18. This was up there?
I would say that the 18 semifinals against LA is still the loudest game I've ever been a part of. It was raucous.
Yeah.
But this is probably the second loudest game I've ever heard here and been a part of on the field.
Yeah. Well, we can only hope to get a little more of that energy tomorrow with the Pabst Light Cup at stake between Boston and Minnesota. Thanks so much for joining us here on Game Day Live. For Evan, Kelsey, Kayla, Colin, I am Ian. We appreciate you supporting the UFA and tuning in on the Watch UFA YouTube. Don't forget, press conferences start at 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern tomorrow morning as we look ahead to the championship game between Boston and Minnesota. Good night from Breese Stevens Field. We can't wait for more Frisbee tomorrow.